learning about your place, how much I spend time at each of the homes and the location and how far you can walk, all of that aspect of it. And when I started calculating out how much time and care we really put into making sure we have every aspect of your home. Every property owner has a different goal and idea of what they need, their home or their vacation rental or just this property that they still have to do. And the idea is looking outside of the box and what can we do to make it a unique stay or a unique experience or add that piece that's going to draw guests to want to stay.
Welcome to the Power Path Podcast, your new favorite podcast for short-term rentals, boutique hotels, and all things real estate. Enjoy the show in 3, 2, 1.
This is episode 2 of the Power Path Podcast. Jeremy, how are you today?
What's up, my man? I am wonderful.
You know, we got to start it off with the dad joke of the day.
Oh, all right. We're starting it off with a dad joke.
Hit us with it. Hit us with it.
Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
All right. Wherever you're from in the world, when you're using the bathroom, European.
European? What?
European.
Oh, there was no punchline to that. It's just European.
European.
I have to tell my daughter that when she gets home today. Like,
Yeah.
You know, wherever you are in the world and you're using the bathroom, European. I think Allie will get a kick out of that, actually. I don't know. She doesn't like my dad jokes. So we'll see how it goes. So today we have Jill Gravely on. And Jill, a little bit about her. She's got 65 properties, like 10 owners. So she
Love it.
is pretty much what everybody goes after when they first start out. It's not something that can just happen right away, but you work with like an elite client, and
Yep.
she has like her buy box of her elite clients, if you will. So they're her ICP, ideal client profile. So we're going to dive into what she does, how she does it. She's got a pretty cool project going on right now. But without further ado, we will welcome Jill Gravely. What's up, Jill? How are you this morning?
Ready? Good morning. Waking up.
Yeah, you're a couple hours behind us. Not too
A
bad.
little early.
So, Jill, we welcome you to the Power Path Podcast, of course, and I love seeing you all over the place anyways. But this is your first one, right? It's your first podcast ever?
Yes. This
I
is my
love
first podcast ever.
I love
Thank you
it.
for
It's
having
the first time ever. I'm actually surprised that it's your first.
Yeah,
honest.
a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. So we'll just jump right in. Jill, give us, who are you? Like, what do you do? Who are you?
I'm Jill Gravely. I am the director for 𝗿𝗵𝐵, a company I started here locally in Colorado about 4 to 5 years ago. We started with one property, and then we started developing kind of a unique brand of co-host opportunities for people in the area. And the really unique thing about 𝗿𝗵𝐵 is that it's actually kind of a family operated and owned. I run it with my mom as well. She's our asset manager, and I work with her side by side almost every day. So it's very exciting. And yeah.
I actually didn't know that. So how does that look? Do you pay your mom, or does she just help?
It's a totally separate thing.
You
Yeah,
pay
we
her
keep that
with,
line.
like, here's the
Yeah.
kids, and you can enjoy them for a little bit.
Yeah, I actually really got to do that for my first year of having my daughter. I got to take her around and her be with me. So that was
That's
really
awesome.
exciting part of it. And she, got to grow up in Nana. So
That's awesome. I used to have a lady, she was a student or whatever you want to call her. She really wanted to get her mom in. Like, she wanted to work with her mom, like same story. She's got young kids. And I think she became her bookkeeper. But she was like, I want to like as we grow income, I want to like weasel her in anywhere I can and just pay her as much as I can so she doesn't have to go back to work. But I think that's a big push for a lot of people. So I think in that aspect, I know there can be drama with that working with the family. And it can be a little rough.
yeah. Yeah, it's not the first time we've worked together in a in a way. But she does something completely different than what I do, which helps a lot in
Yeah.
the sense of, but I learn from her every day. She can fix anything.
Oh, okay. So she's
Yeah.
like maintenance girl too, maintenance woman.
Oh yeah, you can't keep up with her. Like, if I have to send Beth out after I send a handyman, there's
I'm gonna have
there's
to call
a
my mother-in-law after the show and be like, "Hey, what have you been doing?
yeah.
Not what you should be doing. You should be doing this with us."
Oh yeah,
So,
she'd rather go do that though.
I love it. And you're located where?
I'm located in North Denver.
North Denver. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, northern region.
okay. Okay. Like, how long have you been in SDR's real estate in general?
About 5 years.
Okay. So since 1920.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 2019 or so, and my mom was in it before that. They were doing flipping houses and real estate properties, right? Before that, and they decided that when they weren't able to sell a property, which we still have, they put some furnishings into it and just to see what it can do, and that fell into 2020, and it worked out really well because somebody ended up having to stay there for 6 months. After that happened, I said, let's keep doing this, and came in with this proposal. We made some updates, the house did better and better, and that house now has an above ground pool in the summer.
Nice.
So you
Yeah,
taking
Is it
it down and
still on
put
the
it up
market?
every year?
it's still active. Yeah. The pool stays up actually in the winter. We have it covered, but it also has a hot tub, so you can get either way if you really wanted to get in, I guess.
Is it still on the market today?
Yeah. Oh, not to sell.
No, I mean, like, for sale. Like, you just kept it on the market for 5 years, still ain't been able to get rid of it.
I've actually gotten a lot of offers from people to buy it, actually.
That's crazy how the tables turn.
Yes.
That is absolutely crazy. I love it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like just pivoting. Like, that's what pretty much I would say every entrepreneur, every real estate investor, like, they have to pivot at some point when something doesn't go their way.
Yeah,
So-
that property is in Wheat Ridge, if you know the Denver
No.
area. Wheat Ridge,
No.
it's a really nice, it's one of my favorite areas to work in, actually, co-host
Okay.
wise.
Sweet. Okay, so what about, like,
Property in Wheat Ridge. Look her up.
yeah, do you, so I'll ask you this and then I'll ask you, kind of go forward and back up. How many properties do you manage today?
Today, we manage 50 properties. Yes.
How many listings do you have?
There is 65 underneath my profile.
Okay. That's crazy to have only 10 owners. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So that's like the dream for a lot of people. I only work with a few owners. Everybody has five to
Yeah.
10 properties apiece.
Yes.
Like, that is the dream. So that's crazy. Mad congrats to that. What do you think pushed you in that direction?
It was a question I got asked early on. When I developed this company, I worked with an investor directly who owned that very first property and kind of flipped it and said, let's make this even better. So he owns a majority of them. And then as that kind of expansion started and I started looking for more co-hosts, and what was in the area and people asking questions, we branched out in the ideal imagery that I wanted to work with people who had the same ideal kind of mindset towards their properties that we were looking to build as Elevate B&B. We're a full asset management company. So if you're deciding you want to go to the Rocky Mountains and go take a month off and travel and not have service, we're going to be there to take care of your home. If it the stove goes out or you have a water leak, and I think we've seen it about all at this point, and around the areas. But that's the goal, to have dispatch from here and our teams built for you, and take that pressure off.
Who's your ideal right now? And has it changed from the beginning? Who's your ideal kind of client profile?
Yeah, I would still say that I'm looking for property investors. We look right now within kind of destinational areas, including as far as Crested Butte, Winter Park, inside kind of those winter regions. A lot of homeowners right now are seeing a shift in the property and the realty that they may not be able to sell their home at the rate that they have it at, and to be able to hold on to their home or maybe make a decision later. We're looking at trying to either broaden it because it's already been a rental and make it, one of the top peaks and places to visit in the area. I would say that's probably part of it as well. We're looking for those who need what Elevate B&B can provide, just that whole kind of full package of hands off, let us do our thing for you, and see what we can do to make it happen. It's also a part of goals. Every property owner has a different goal and idea of what they need, their home or their vacation rental or just this property that they still have to do. And the idea is looking outside of the box and what can we do to make it a unique stay or a unique experience or add that piece that's going to draw guests to want to stay. And because of hospitality, of course, right? The first thing is we take care of the guest and we take care of your home.
65 listings.
Mm-hmm.
What does your internal team consist of outside of you and your home?
We also have another in-person office lady. Her name is Cassie. And then we have 5 virtual assistants who run with us as well. They all handle guest communication. I oversee all of that, at least that piece of it. Revenue management. So we analyze price labs and dashboards in each market area that we're in to be price aggressive, especially with the season and the change and this drop that everyone's seeing in this last shift because of the happenings that are now done with this year, thankfully. And it's a big team, but they're amazing. They've been growing for about 4 years. And the rest of the teams consist of local area. So cleaners, handymen, repair companies, people who we love to work with who have all the same assets and communication and care that we do for our guests as well. We don't want someone walking in on guests, but we want someone who's going to be able to come because, the water's leaking through the ceiling. We can't have something like that. We need someone to be attentive to, again, the guests and your home. So it's quite a big team, actually, if you think about the expansion of how far we have our rentals, which run as far as Littleton to Windsor and Crested Butte all the way up to Estes, if you're looking in the Rockies to the Denver area.
Wow.
I don't know much about Colorado, but I know that between town and town is a long time. So
it's what?
A long drive.
If you were to drive from your furthest out ones, what are you, 8-10 hours distance between?
Yeah, 4, 5, 6, 8. It's about 8.
8,
yeah.
Good gracious. Good
it's
gracious.
Not too bad.
So let's go backwards. Let's back up a little bit. Like before you ever touched real estate, before you got into STRs, who was Jill?
Okay. I graduated from Montana State University, which is where I came from, Montana. And I moved to Colorado after that to open up Olive Garden restaurants because the first one opened in Bozeman after I graduated. And I learned how to run the whole kitchen from the training crew. And I called the regional director and said, "Hey, I'm in Denver. I need to talk to you." And called him up and said, we had a chat over lunch. And he hired me to fly down and move to Colorado and open up restaurants. And it was really cool. I learned the whole aspect of it and knew that wasn't what I wanted to do. And I jumped back into landscaping, which is where my mom's world come from, Beth, where her world comes from. And we actually ended up working together right after that when she moved to Colorado again, which is where she's from. And after landscaping, what did I do? I worked in Denver, downtown Denver. I commuted on the big flight ferries for a company call it SS at the time. And I learned a ton there. Decided that I needed to move to Arizona to be with my now husband very rapidly and lived in Arizona for a few years. At that time, I worked at a company called ADP. It was a payroll company. I was an account manager for them. So I had 30 some clients that I was running and helping run payroll for and learning a lot about apps and software and how to build and do tech and all sorts of stuff. And that kind of really is what built on deciding that I wanted to come up here. So in 2020, thank you, COVID, I said, "Hey, I need to get out of Arizona. we got moved up here and I started the company in the sense of like, this is what I need to do for my family, for my work-life balance and not be attached to a phone. And it happened that it created this sense of, I want to learn the inside and out of how to do this, of how to make the technology work in the background, to run the property management system, for the software to communicate to this platform, for that marketing strategy to work with that one. All the integrations is kind of where my piece of this started, and how I built the company. And then now it's been an operations piece with all of our team.
I did not know about 100% of that. That is crazy. I had no idea. What did you graduate college from? Like
exercise science.
What?
Exercise science. I wanted to go be a chiropractor.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, what in the world is that?
Yeah, and then I didn't end up doing that because I didn't want to keep doing school.
So how long did you help the Olive Garden?
I worked for them for about, oh gosh, I don't know, 3 or 4 years.
Wow. So we're going to call this from restaurant setter-upper to STR manager.
Setter-upper.
Yeah, like,
crazy.
Like, you don't want to get off at 2 a.m. after cleaning kitchens, and man, I would scrub, but nobody wants to do that forever.
No. I mean, I worked in the kitchen for like 2.5 years or something. Little barbecue house in our hometown in Temple, Georgia.
Nice.
And it was very like, private owned. It was like a generational thing. And I cooked, and Allie was a waitress, and we worked together for a long time there. And the kitchen life, restaurants, it's a tough business. Like sometimes people are like, "Oh, short-term rentals and real estate's a tough business." Like you had not been in the kitchen. Not a stressful Friday night, Saturday night.
Running the line. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know what fire is until you've been under it.
No, I had lunch with a guy last week, and he comes from like he had a restaurant, he sold it. He comes from like whiskey bars, and he created a couple of them. And he sold his restaurant, hadn't got back in it. He's helping a client of mine that just bought a restaurant. And he, like, we were sitting there just kind of like reminiscing, and he was like, nobody knows what happens in a kitchen on a Saturday night, Friday night, when it's like you're short staffed, waitresses are coming in, waiters are coming in yelling, you're yelling at them, you're yelling at each other. And he's like, the stress that comes with that and turns you into a different person for those 4 hours. And you come out, and he said, it's a lot of fun. I was like, it was a lot of fun until like, we're throwing loaves of bread at each other, like pissed at each other, hollering at each other. I mean, it's me and the owner used to get into it. I love him to death. Like couldn't work with him. And it was just, I just remember like I was 17, 18, 16, like in those years, I was already hot-headed. I knew everything, but I just went back to that, like last week, I just went back to that mentality, and I was like, it was a lot of fun. Like, you're just a different person. Like,
yeah. My favorite night probably was I started working front of house and serving, which was a lot of fun because I could tell, what do you want to know what's in the recipe? I could break it all down if you really needed to know anything. But it was a crazy night, and they pulled me off the floor, covered my tables, and said, Jill, we need you to cook and get us out. And that was probably my favorite night. I was like, let's do this.
Utility player all the way around. That's crazy.
Yeah. And being a knowledge base, right? Knowing the recipes inside and out, being able to say, hey, Jill, where is this? What's in this? How do I make this on the fly? All of that wrapped into being like, I can do this, right? So we didn't start building the company and really branching out with extra people until we hit probably like 15 plus properties. Like, yeah, it's crazy, but that's the basis of my mom and I's work ethic, if you will.
That's crazy. So what pushed you out of the restaurant business? Just it was time, burnout?
Yeah, I didn't want to do that. Like the next stage, right, is managerial after like assistant manager, right? And I was just, and that's kind of how I moved through. Like I've learned everything I feel like I could from this job, and I don't want to take the next step, even though I've moved up the ladder and I've learned it. I want to do something else. I branched that way in almost every job I worked. I've done a little bit of everything, and decided initially I needed to work for myself, and that I could do this and I could do it right. And so that's kind of what pushed me out of the restaurant. I had to get out. And I was in Colorado. Nobody wants to stay inside and work those hours kind of here. So I ended up pushing back into landscaping and gardening. And that actually has morphed into a lot of this type of stuff too, because we take care of the small family homes, right? They're all residential. And so you need them looking nice. You need the flowers growing in the spring. And I would say that's a nice side additive when we're driving around, if we can do it.
So what sets Elevate B&B apart? What do you guys do that other people may not, or what makes you guys unique, would you say?
We are based here in Colorado, small family owned, but we operate with local handymen, local cleaners. We also operate in the sense of, if you already have operations going, that we continue working with those who you've established a relationship with, that you know your home. We provide pretty much any opportunity that your home may need. If you're looking for like upgrades and say this would be ideal for the situation of your guests in your home, there's a pocket closet door that every time I walk into it, I get locked in. And you have to open the closet from underneath. I'm like, I am literally stuck in a closet. And so you have to pull it out and open it, right?
Door and shutting the door for?
What?
What are you going in the closet and shutting the door for?
It's a master closet.
Oh, okay.
The hangers, okay? We do double check the properties. And my biggest thing is hangers, those black velvet hangers.
Yeah.
I buy them for everywhere. I love them for everywhere. Guests love them, by the way, enough to take them, and leave their own, but just take theirs off. Like,
yeah. We
don't need to keep theirs. Right. So I walk into closets, double checks. And if you don't open and if you don't close a door behind you, I'm guessing the cleaner probably didn't either. When you walk through a property, right? Well, the closet door just kind of shuts on you. I'm really good at finding things that are broken. When I walk into a property, I had a contractor tell me one time, "Hey, don't shut that dishwasher like that. It doesn't work that way." And I said, "I'm not going to tell a guest how to shut a dishwasher. Like the dishwasher needs to shut like a dishwasher." And so just walking through those things of, we establish the home as a care. It's not just an Airbnb as a rental. Somebody has probably lived there at some point. You want your guests to feel like they're home, having Thanksgiving, be able to live in the space. And if I'm sitting on the couch, then I probably need a coaster there or an extension cord because I can't plug in my phone. If I'm sitting next to bed and I have it all plugged in with the lamps. And so it's focusing on actually being there and living there and going through it and taking care of it. It's about the little things.
I love it.
And I think that answers your question in the sense of what else that we can do. I just had a fridge installed up in Blackhawk, a replacement, because I think a guest, it's one of those side fridge. So I think somebody may have like pulled on it and it bent. And so it stopped working in the fridge door. And you don't really want to tell people either like, "Hey, don't put your food in the fridge door," because it might not seal. So we got it replaced there pretty quickly for the next guest and had ice work in and whole new update. So
sweet.
We also do
pulling on a fridge. We have one that somebody screwed up the ice maker in like a $5,000 refrigerator. They just pulled the lever completely off. And I was like, just don't make ice. I don't know what to tell you right now. I have no idea what to tell you. Nobody could fix it. She had to call, I don't know, somebody out of Atlanta, which is it was like 2 hours away from the property. It was absolutely insane. And they were missing like a lever. And it was like a $250 fix. It was stupid.
That's awful.
Yeah. Well, you were working on something right now. So Jeremy asked about like setting you apart, and you mentioned something before we started recording about a project you got going on right now.
We are, yes. So I kind of mentioned how Elevate B&B started back in 2019 with a flip and renovation that wasn't selling well. We have one of my investors that we have been working with has a property that was a long-term rental. And that was a decision at the time, wasn't sure if how to make it when they decided on the rental at the time, but it's pretty well worn through, if you will, if you can imagine, right? If you've walked through one, and we've set up a, if you will, a proposal, a design piece to help with the full renovation of it as well. So it's a little bit of layout change. It's a little bit of update to appliances, full bathroom renovations, maybe adding an extra bedroom, and even the landscape in the backyard. We're going to put in a hot tub with it too. But the ideal and the focus behind it is that with the renovations, our goal is to make it with a rental in mind. So the beneficence of moving the light switch or having extra plugs next to your bed where they belong, ceiling fans in all the bedrooms. Everyone who comes to Colorado wants to make sure they have AC and heat. You need to be able to control your environment, the number one thing. And so those aspects behind it that we can do for you, and kind of put into gear and make it quick. With the idea that we're trying to get it rented for furnishings.
Okay. And so we talk about all the time, like different ways you can make money in this business. And I think you nailed like 4 of them at the same time in one offering. Like we talk about renovation could be one, like you being like, I don't want to say being a GC, but being over a GC, design, build out, execution, and then of course, management.
Yes.
Is there anything else on top of that that you would say, like, could be a service or could be something offered? Like, do you want to run through can you run through numbers on what, like, the different proposals and the offers that you pitched?
Ultimately, well, just starting with our co-host management package, with that piece of it, we are standing on, we have a 25% management fee with a $2,500 onboarding fee. And from there, our other design packages or are built for you at like a $250 cost. And then if you decide on that design, we'll include it then in the final overall packaging of your furnishing and cost. So that is built out on perspective of the whole design. It's based on the size of the home. And then the renovation piece is actually new for our investors. And so we're actually just working through that process. But again, it would be dependent on the proposal that you decide. We've run through a few quotes of different contractors based on what you want to see done. Ultimately, there's always decisions that you can decide to do or not to do on a property and whether or not it's going to be beneficial one way or the other. And so it's all dependent upon that additional piece of it.
Okay.
Couple questions on your numbers.
Oh, you're good. Cheers.
What's that?
Good. She was asking if that was okay. I was just like, yeah, I mean,
I'm not really sure if I had flat numbers, but sorry.
Yeah, no, that was great. So your 25%, do you have a tech fee on top of that, or is that you do not have
do.
one?
The tech fee is at $100.
Okay.
We also do so tech fee involves all of our levels of tech, of course, between price labs, security, video monitoring. We have different connection avenues for locks and rings and all sorts of stuff, depending on what maybe your home already has. And then we also do garbage management. If you want it, depending on your location and your trash, we provide a service that will actually come out and take your trash to and from the location, so you guys don't have to.
Sweet. And what does your onboarding fee entail? And what's included in that?
Yeah, the onboarding fee includes all of the aspects that go into building your listing. So we'll do a full walkthrough with you, just uncertainty of what your goals, what your aspects are. The home piece, we collect a full asset inside out. So we'll know your type of stove and dishwasher, the filters on your water heater, because we just went through quarterly maintenance. Snow just hit in Colorado. It's cold here. And we need to make sure all the smoke detector batteries are working and nothing's going to go off. So all of that is included in the onboard fee. It also is the integration with your listing with my property management system integrated into the price labs. And so we'll do an analysis of your property, the dashboard, and where it should be set for cleaning and pricing.
Cool. Are photos included in that as well?
They are not. No. A deep clean and photography is at cost to the owner.
Okay. And then you said your design was 250. What does that entail?
Yeah, it's a design layout, if you will, of this is our proposal of what we would do with your space. The bedding, the color and the decor, the ideal layout for your home, the experience between it. Ultimately, it falls on top of your amenities of what we would recommend purchasing as priority for your home.
Cool.
So it's kind of just like an overall layout. It's not like
Yeah.
I'm going to go in and like heavy design and all that kind
No,
of stuff.
so that's just the initial piece of it. You can take that and run with it. I do have a couple of homeowners and investors who are amazing at designs, and they have done great things and updates. And then I've had other people who have said, you know what, I would rather feel like I was on a renovation show and just leave and come back and you've done it right. You know, you've taken it from where I could and you've finished it. And so again, it's kind of working with the homeowner and what we think we can make the goals happen.
Cool.
Sweet. So before Jeremy continues, you have a $2,500 onboard fee.
I do.
So that's something that a lot of people, like, first of all, don't know about until they get into like a community and we go back and forth on onboard fees. What some people would listen to that and be like, holy crap, there's no way. How is she getting that? Can you talk a little bit about the onboard fee, like how you started it? Like, where did you start coming up through? Did you change your price or did you just immediately go 2,500? You know, is it pushback? Like, kind of talk about that for a second.
Yeah, I did not start it. I don't even know if I had an onboard fee to begin with. I'll be honest. I don't think that came up until somebody was like, you should have an onboard fee. How much time did it take you to establish onboarding a new listing? How much time did you spend on the phone? How much time have you spent building, taking pictures, you know, learning about your place, how much I spend time at each of the homes and the location and how far you can walk, all of that aspect of it. And when I started calculating out how much time and care we really put into making sure we have every aspect of your home lined out before I leave it to guests is impactful. And it starts at 2,500 now. It wasn't, I think I probably moved it up to 500 when someone said, hey, do this. And I said, okay, like a week, I can get all that. And then we started branching out of what we currently have in our capacity, if you will, of property management assets. And what we can provide. So it's now starting at $2,500 based on how far we have to get your listing activated, I would say. There's a lot that can go on to activating a listing, and there's a lot that doesn't always need to happen. A lot of my investors in the unique properties that we run, they're all in a different circumstance. Everybody is right now. No one property is standing in the same position with where the market's at. And I think that's what we really can advertise to is lending that initial goal to there. So and that's why it lays out at 2,500 right now. Just one, because of all of the marketing and all of the aspects that go into making sure you're branched between all the OTA platforms, Airbnb, Vrbo. We also have our own direct booking platform at elevate-bnb.com. You can book any of our properties with a direct booking, save on fees. And then that way, your property is also making more money, right? We're generating same guests who come to Colorado. We love to host returning guests who have been here and had great stays, but we can provide them a different experience or a different location. And so that's the goal with that.
It's a lovely website, by the way.
Oh,
I figured Jeremy was pulling it up like right now.
I had it up at the beginning, but it's nice.
He's so nosy. He's all up in people's business.
We've been working really hard on it. We've been ranching a lot. There's a lot that I wish I could spend my whole day in the next like 3 weeks working on expanding it. The goal now is to build out this co-host owner page. I have a little bit on it, but there's not as much as I've said on this podcast.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Crafted Stays?
Crafted Stays? No.
Yep.
Mhm.
Allie, and I think his name is Gil. owns Crafted Stays. Allie was on a podcast with him like a year and a half ago, something like that. And he had the idea, and he started kind of building it for people. And she was like, "Just take off with it." And so he did. And him and Allie are good friends now. But I have seen him blast it everywhere now. Like people recommending him, like great experience, great customer service, great pricing. I have no idea. We haven't used him. We still are traditional like Wix users. But just, as an idea, like I don't personally know Gil. Allie does, but she talks very highly of him and Crafted Stays. So it may be something that you.
Yeah, it was impression agencies who helped build us ours. They've been working with the API behind the website, which has been a big struggle. Yeah. So they've done a lot of work to help make sure that we are.
So you're good. You already have
somebody in that background.
Okay, I thought you were kind of like in our place where we have like we have like Wix built out, and it's just been us, and we just integrated a couple of different pages. So
we can do it. Yeah, it's under WordPress now. And so the team that helped us build it, because it's such a big kind of outlay in the background, they're helping us expand it that way. But most of the time we're running it if we needed to, which is nice. But they're still there.
Got some fun questions for you now, Jill.
Okay.
What is your superpower?
Wings, magic, like fairy wings, because they can morph and take me anywhere and do whatever I need to do. I'm a little bit of a chameleon in that way, in the sense that if it needs to get done, I'll take care of it.
Awesome. If you could pick a real superpower, what would it be?
That is a tough one.
That like that stumped everybody we've asked so far. Like they're like, "Oh, we'll just have to come back to it."
And it's not the first time I've been asked it. It's not the first icebreaker at it, but I would say probably right now, would be freezing time. Just a little bit, just snippets of.
You're the second person to mention that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I think time is a big one. I think once you get to a certain point, like career and business and all that, like we all realize time is the most valuable piece. And I think honestly, we're going to have majority of people, that's going to be like what they want to control this time.
Yeah. And I don't, and it's funny that you say control time, but it's more like I want to take pauses in time. We do so much and it runs so fast over here. That I feel like there's been moments of time, right? It started snowing the other night and you just stop and you just stare at the snow. Or my daughter is trying to start walking, right? Like to just like no phone, no TV, no nothing else, but just this moment right here, right? Let that last a little bit longer. I think that would be my elongate those pauses.
You're gonna make me cry. Because mine originally was I wanted to be able to tell the next 30 seconds of time. I wanted to be able to read the next 30 seconds. So like if I'm going to make a decision, I knew what the outcome was in a very short amount of time. Or like simple as, you're unloading your car on the side of the street. In the next 30 seconds, I can see if a car is going to be not paying attention or they can come over. It's more like a safety thing, in my opinion. But I'm leaning towards more of the pauses. Like maybe go back within a couple hours and replay it and just pause it and let it go. I'm going to cry just talking about it because I have 2 young kids too.
Has anyone ever told you that if you forget something, it's because someone's saving you from something?
No.
So if you forget your keys or you forget your sunglasses and you're like, I need to stop and you run back in, it's saving you from something. There's a reason that you needed to take a pause.
Yep. I have heard that. Yep. And then you're driving down the road and you're like, I wonder if I would have pulled out or that car would have pulled out in front of me. Yep. I've heard that. And I firmly believe that. Like everything happens for a reason. There's no such thing as coincidences.
Yeah. And so I don't think there's like, time is all flexive and control, right? You can't, I love to be on time. I'm frustrated when I'm late. I'm frustrated when I'm early. So I try not to be frustrated at all. Right. In the sense of, hey, I'm here. We've arrived, right? Like you do each action as you need. And there's a reason you have to take that moment.
I absolutely love that because I don't know about Jeremy, but with our kids, like we're pretty much late everywhere, especially to family functions.
Always.
And we used to catch so much crap about showing up late. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 minutes. It didn't matter. It was just like all this crap was always talked about. And I mean, when we were younger, when my daughter was like little bitty, that was especially the roughest time. Now with 2 kids, it's the same. We're always the same lateness. But when we had our daughter, it really hit us hard on like getting places. And like if I wouldn't know then what I know now about like giving grace and just taking grace for ourselves and like so what? Like exactly what you said, like we're here. Like whatever. But Allie, like they would make like family members would make Allie cry. Like just being so guilty of like being late or you missed this or we can't eat until you get here, like all that crap. Now we're just like, I'll be 30 minutes late if you keep on. Like we're gonna stop and get some Starbucks and we're not gonna get y'all anything and we're gonna roll in when we want. Like as long as we show up. But I wish then when we talk about time, you don't realize that till you like go through business.
Yeah.
And just have grace for yourself. And Allie was on that before me of like, just give yourself grace. Like, so what? We're like, yeah, you get frustrated, but who cares? At least we show up. So,
Yep.
Yeah, that frustration is yours, right? You're putting that impact on what you're doing. And I think that comes into a lot with when you're working with difficult guest situations, especially when it comes to your home, not working in some manner, that you kind of maintain that of like, okay, we're going to keep trying this. And if it doesn't work, I will come to your property. If they can't make it, I will be there.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
What's one purchase under $100 that you've made in the last year that has most influenced your life?
One purchase under $100.
Mm-hmm.
I'll grab it.
Ooh,
grab it. She uses it every day.
I do. It's actually for your feet. So this ball, this ball pops apart. You step on it and it pops apart and it lays flat, and so you can stand on it and rub your feet on it. Or it's a pressure point. So you put it on the wall and then you just push it on your back.
Nice.
Oh, that is cool. How much was it?
I think it was like 25, 27, probably 30 with shipping and tax.
Do you use it every day?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really hard, if that makes sense. It's got little pokies on it, but it's really hard.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Naboso. Naboso. Rad.
Naboso. All right.
Interesting. What made you want to purchase it?
I had a daughter and
I'm standing on it. I'm going to use it right now.
Anything other than my house.
Into that.
Why did you say you bought it?
I had a daughter. In the sense of like, this is my as close as I can get to a gym or a massage lately.
Now you just have your daughter like push on it on your back. You're like, hey, can you rub this on my back?
I can't wait till she can do that.
Oh, what is she?
Something fell behind the couch the other day, and I said, "Oh gosh, I can't wait till you understand to go back there and go get that for me."
How old is she? Like 6 months? A year?
A year and a half.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, she's there. Just put a little leash on her, push her back behind the couch, and just pull her back. Yeah, she'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just put a dog harness on her, and just be like, "You're good. You're not going to get trapped or choked. Just pull her back." Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, well, they do things differently down in Georgia.
What you talking about?
Yeah.
What you talking about, Willis?
All right, Jill. Last thing. What is one thing you have splurged on in the last year?
Splurged.
Mm-hmm.
Could be anything. Car, vacation.
Okay. We went to France in August. Here's something else that you don't know about me, or maybe you do. I'm a drummer for a bagpipe band. I've been one since I was about 12.
Like, what are we doing here?
Awesome. And I play snare and both tenor. And we got to go to France this year in August for the 80th liberation of France area, southern France, for World War II. And it was amazing. I mean, they have memorials and plaques for the men of the 1st Special Service Force, the American and Canadian men who died while they were helping liberate these small towns. And so on the 80th Liberation, they had everyone come out and everybody did this ceremony, and they sang both the American and Canadian national anthems. And to see our flags over there is very cool, by the way, that they celebrate that. And those people who did that for them. So we got to play as their official pipe band, the Black Devils. The pipes and drums of the Black Devils is who they are called.
That is so freaking cool.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's a past thing, but I would say we splurged because the initial accommodations that we had were not great. It was a last minute thing that they ended up finding a deal for, and it just didn't work out for us. When you're wrapped up in kilts and wool and you're in southern France in August, it's really humid. And so we actually splurged on an Airbnb.
I love it.
It was amazing. It had this beautiful pool, this lookout overview balcony. It was amazing. We all each had our own room with AC. Huh?
The whole family went?
Yeah. Actually, my mom's a bagpiper and so is my dad. So it's kind of a family thing too. But my husband went and so did my daughter, and my husband's parents went. So it was the 6 of us and my daughter.
That is
all got
awesome.
to stay in this for 2 weeks.
That is so cool. My uncle is a bagpiper.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really talk to my uncle anymore. Love him, still love him. Just don't talk to him.
Yeah.
You have a snare in your house?
I do.
Okay.
I have a snare and a tenor drum.
For 2 minutes, I want you to go get the snare and I want you to play something.
It's not gonna
happen. Round 2. We'll have to preface it for number 2.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. Like
I think it'd be easier to get my mom on the call and have her play bagpipes for you than for me to pull that out.
Oh my God, I would love that if she could do that.
Actually, it's kind of fun at the office that we have. We flip this little house in Thornton off of East Lake. It's really cute, and we have this big shop. And when it's nice or we need to practice or whatever on Thursdays, we'll just take them both over there and just play. So
that is so cool. God, there is so much. Well, I know everything about you now, but I was going to say
now you do. That's it. That's all I got.
That is so freaking cool. Look, that's why I love doing this. This, like, the podcast. Like, I think when we started it, it was really about, like, we just want to educate everybody. But really, it's more of turned into like a selfish thing for me, because I can like really get to know you better for 45 minutes to an hour. But it also gives a lot of transparency to everybody else. Like, it's not a, it's not a shallow podcast or a hollow podcast.
I would say and I'm surprised I haven't done this before, but I think it is a thing with starting your own company and being your own business, especially with Elevate B&B and short-term rentals, is how do you create a face to the company when you're playing with social media or website? And I haven't really projected that out there. So maybe this is the start to that. Get some professional photos taken, and we've been looking at broadcasting the Elevate B&B site to have a who we are section. And so we'll look to expand that now.
Well, what's your goal with Elevate B&B? Is it to exit it? Is it to have 200 properties? Like, what's the goal?
That's 200 would be great. It's all at this point a financial one goal is to hit a number with Elevate B&B, because we've been a small business for about 5 years. And so what does that look like based on the number of employees we have and just the stretch of what we've been kind of branding is also the thing that we've been working on this year. Who is Elevate B&B? What are our colors? How do you emphasize us, and how do you know that you've walked into one of our properties while we're there? And so that is my goal also with my cleaners and my handymen as well, is that it's all a Elevate B&B template.
I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. People watching, they're like, oh, they've got everything figured out all the time. They're like, nah. Just learn.
Just working off the next one. Just, taking on the next one, taking on the next challenge.
Yep. We just build the airplane as we take off.
Yeah.
And
sometimes you have to fold the wings a little differently the next time, and that's okay.
Well, I was listening to something yesterday. I think 𝗙cie was talking about it. Something, he wasn't talking about it yesterday. I just seen it yesterday. And it was about taking action. Is there's all of these people that watch YouTube, watch podcasts, watch reels. They're thinking about, possibly thinking about maybe trying it one day. And the difference between those people and everybody on this call and everybody that is in our circle is people take action. And it only takes 10 seconds to get over fear.
Fear will stop you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no time for fear. I've got too much to think about. There's too many other things going on. If you're somebody who said if you're fearful, think of something you're grateful for. And it changes. You can't do both.
That's true. That is true. I like that. Well, all right. So for respect of time, because I will take this for the rest of the day, because I really thoroughly enjoy this. We can wrap it up, but is there anything, how do people get in touch with you? How do people find you?
Yeah, you can find us at elevate-bnb.com. We have Instagram, we have Facebook, 𝗏𝐿𝑎𝑡E_BNB. If you Google 𝗏𝐿𝑎𝑡E_BNB Denver area, you should see my Google business page. You can chat me. Jill at 𝗏𝐿𝑎𝑡E-BNB is my email. My phone number is up there too, but there's several different ways, but reach out and look forward to chatting with you. Anyone wants to talk.
Sweet. Well, we'll put that in the show notes whenever this one drops. That way people can contact you, and I might get that link for that little stress ball you got, so people can make you a little affiliate link.
Yeah,
so you might get 10 cents if somebody buys one.
That would be cool. Yeah. We have looked into Minoan actually for that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Minoan is.
I'm actually doing it for some of my owners and not just 𝗏𝐿𝑎𝑡E_BNB. We're doing it for the co-host of if we update furnishings or do anything like that, that gets represented in your home for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the find something you like, purchase it here.
Yeah, I guess that's a big part of it. With everything's at cost to the owner, we don't add anything on top of our management fee when it comes to stock or furnishings or supplies. The benefit is the goal of making your home better. The best, right?
Yeah. I think the most common we get is the mattresses, like at the hotel. People will call back
and
we just shoot them the link because we'll get a kickback. I mean, it's not a lot.
I know. Every time I think about that, I'm like, oh, where's the link?
Yeah, but they'll do it for free. Minoan makes it for free after.
They do. Yeah, I'm waiting for them to come in the mail.
Yep, perfect. I love it. They got a nice little metal stand. Do what, Jeremy?
I was just saying we set that up at the hotel as well. Minoan.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, it's really cool. So, all right. Well, Jill, we appreciate you and your time today.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and I'm surprised this is your first one. So
it won't be the last, that's for sure.
It shouldn't be the last. The last. So with that, Jeremy, you want to take us away?
Yeah. Thanks to Jill. Thanks, Kyle, for another wonderful episode. And until next week, I am Jeremy Worths, and he is Kyle Fugate.
We'll see you next time.